Hey YouTube, today we're going to be talking about another favorite cartridge of mine, and it's probably a favorite cartridge of everybody watching this video. And what we're going to be discussing here today is some fun facts about the 22 long rifle cartridge. And before we go any further, I'm going to tell you that every one of these firearms that I have here in front of me have all been safety checked before I started shooting this video. I'm not going to sit there and open each one of them up individually before I start talking, because I'm not going to waste your time. They're all empty, they're all safety checked, and we are good to go. As I pick them up individually, if I just decide to pick one up and use an example, I will show the whole YouTube world that the firearm that I'm holding is empty and safe. Now, what we're going to be talking about is the 22 long rifle, and a lot of people really underestimate this little guy here. The 22 long rifle was developed by J. Stevens Tool Company, Tool and Firearm Company in 1887. And what it was really designed to do is have a little bit more velocity than a BB gun or like a 22 short or 22 long. They make two cartridges in 22 that are a little bit shorter than this. One of them is called the 22 short and one of them is called the 22 long. This is a long rifle. This is the most common cartridge in the entire world. There's more 22 long rifle ammunition and more 22 long rifle firearms made than any other firearm manufactured to date, and it's not even close, folks. It's not even close. Every single person that are even close to being into firearms owns a 22 long rifle of some sort, and every single person that's ever fired a firearm has fired a 22 long rifle out of something. It's a very small cartridge, as you can see. It's just so teeny tiny. And what the 22 long rifle is a rimfire cartridge. So this entire case, the whole back of it is the primer. And what happens is the firing pin strikes just the rim of it, ignites this whole primer area here, which ignites the powder and shoots the projectile down the barrel. Now, a common size 22 long rifle is usually between 36 and 40 grains. And I'm not an expert on 22 long rifle, I'm not a ballistics expert, and I'm not a historian. But generally speaking, a 22 long rifle you can expect to get around 11 to 1200 feet per second on a 36 to 40 grain bullet. And that's going to produce somewhere around 180 pounds of energy upon impact. Now, the usable range on a 22 long rifle is far shorter than most of the larger center fire cartridges that I go over on my channel here. And you can shoot a 22 long rifle out to around 100 yards, give or take. When you go beyond that, and when you go out to 150 yards, you're usually looking at probably about a 10 to 12 inch drop and bullet drop, and it's probably only going to be traveling around 500 feet per second when it gets out to 150 yards. So it's going to be a substantial loss in power. But usually when you're target shooting with a 22, you're going to be 100 yards or less when you're shooting at targets. What the 22 long rifle is good for is, like I just said, target shooting. You can hunt small game, like around squirrels or raccoons or stuff like that. And they say you can actually go all the way up to like the coyote size, but I don't know that I would recommend that. It doesn't have a lot of power and requires, like a really good shot placement. But one thing you can say about it is 22 long rifles are usually pretty accurate. It's a pretty accurate gun because you're usually shooting them at short distance. And usually the weapons that are designed to shoot this are usually very well thought out and very well made accurate. Now, the cool thing about the 22 long rifle is such a versatile round that they make such a variety of different firearms. I cannot think of another round that they make such a variety of different firearms, and I have a few of them here in front of us. Now, 22 long rifles have been made for automatic guns, handguns, revolvers, rifles. They have 22 conversions for all the popular guns like the 1911, the SIG, automatic pistols have 22s. All the major manufacturers that come out with these new tactile polymer frame guns have made a 22 version of it. People just love 22. There's no recoil. It's very inexpensive to shoot. It's the most inexpensive round, and it's the most plentiful round to buy. You can go to the range all day long and spend a minimum amount of money, and the dB level, the noise level, is just minimum. So I'm going to show you a couple of different varieties that I have here, and I don't have everything that I have in 22, but I've just picked out a few varieties here that I thought would well represent the 22 long rifle. If you look at modern guns, this is a Glock. Glock's one of the most popular modern guns made, and Glock got into the 22 long rifle game a little later than everybody else. I think this has probably been out 4 or 5 years now. This is a Glock 44, but it works exactly like every other Glock. It breaks down just like every other Glock, and it shoots 22 long rifle. It actually feels like a toy gun because it's so light. They made it out of polymer, the whole slide and everything, except for the bottom part that's metal, because the 22 doesn't have a lot of muzzle energy or anything, and it has to be able to move this slide back. But Glock is known to be a very reliable gun, and this gun seems to hold suit. It's very reliable with any kind of ammunition. As you can see, if you look right at it, the muzzle's really small. Just a really cool range gun to go with. If you just want to take an easy day at the range, you want to bring your Glock out there. It's the same size as the famous Glock 19 and 9mm, and you can shoot this thing all day long for pennies. And Glock, 22s are also very popular in revolvers, and this is the only revolver I have out here to show you. This is a single action. I'm going to show you every cylinder here is empty, but this is just a cheap Heritage single action revolver, but all the major manufacturers like Smith & Wesson, Colt, Ruger, all of them, they all make double action 22 revolvers also, and this is no exception. This just shoots 22 long rifles, so you can do revolver target shooting or revolver practice also and have a 22 long rifle. Very inexpensive, very low recoil, very accurate, and just a neat thing to shoot. Usually when you're shooting handguns, you're shooting, 7 to 15 yards anyway, and most people don't go past 50 yards unless you're a nutcase. You want to prove that you're a marksman. 22 long rifle will get it done. It's very good at target shooting. Another real popular one, if you want to talk about target shooting, is you get a target pistol. And this is absolutely what this is. I'm going to show you that it's empty. This is an old Ruger, and this is a bull barrel gun. And this is absolutely what this is for. This is a Mark I Ruger 22 target pistol. See, it's got adjustable target grips on it, and that is what this was made for. You can use this in competitions. They actually have 22 long rifle competitions and everything, and this is probably one of the most accurate handguns that I absolutely own. Believe it or not, this thing will absolutely put them through the same hole if you do your part. But it's real heavy. It's got a real heavy barrel, so you can just sit there and hold your line right. And there's absolutely no recoil on it whatsoever. And it's a semi-automatic, very reliable as any rimfire gun can be. Now, that's one of the problems with the 22 long rifle cartridge is it's a rimfire, and rimfire is usually not known to be as reliable as a centerfire cartridge. That's why a lot of people would not recommend this for any kind of self-defense or carry options or anything, because most of the times when you buy 22 long rifle ammunition, you're buying it in bulk. I know that's the way I do it, folks. I buy the bulk, large buckets of 22 ammo, and I'm sure they just mass produce it. And every now and then you get one that's overcharged and one that's undercharged, and you can have a malfunction. It's not the firearm, it's usually ammo related. But target practice, small game hunting, it's just endless of stuff. They make ARs that have 22 long rifle uppers on them. Just anything you can do. One of the other popular ones here is a Ruger 1022, and this is an older one. This is an old stainless one from the 80s with an old 80s Simmons scope on it and all that. And I'm going to show you there's nothing in it either. But a lot of people, this is a very popular gun, and this is one of the most versatile guns there is. There's people that make these into mini 14 looking guns. They make them into folders like the A-Team. They make them look like sniper rifles. There's just the endless amounts of stuff they can do, and they're still a 22 semi-automatic rifle. It's just a lot of fun to shoot, and it doesn't cost a lot, and they're really cool, folks. They're really cool. This other one we have right here is a really old. This thing is ancient. This is a Marlin 39A, and this is before they made the golden 39A. This was made in the 40s. But if you want a lever gun to shoot, they have those in 22 also. I think Winchester makes them, Henry Rifles makes them, and all that. And it's just really inexpensive, and who doesn't like a lever gun to go out there and target shoot with? Or if you want to go squirrel hunting or something like that. I've always mentioned this. I'm not a hunter or anything like that. But if you were to go out squirrel hunting or something like that, a 22 is a really great option. You know, it's very quiet. Doesn't spook a lot of other wildlife or anything because it doesn't make a lot of noise. There's no recoil, and it literally costs hardly anything to do. But a lot of people underestimate this 22 cartridge, thinking that it will not kill a human being. Well, folks, that is absolutely incorrect. This is a very deadly cartridge. There's a lot of misnomers out there about the 22 long rifle will ricochet around in you and just do more damage. Well, I don't know that that's true. I know that a lot of it will not penetrate all the way through a human body. You know, a lot of it will get stopped, but I don't know about the ricocheting around in. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical examiner or anything, but sounds like a lot of untruths out there about it. But a 22 long rifle is not to be underestimated. It will absolutely harm you or end your life. So please don't ever take any firearm for granted when you're messing with them. This is not a toy, folks. This is not a toy. It is a real firearm, and it will do real damage if it's used incorrectly. But a lot of people talk down upon the 22 long rifle, and I don't know why. It's probably one of the most fun rounds to take to the range. I mean, you can literally take your children out there. I mean, you can take first-time shooters out all the time. They're not going to be intimidated by the noise. They're not going to be overwhelmed by hefty recoil or anything like that. It's just to be quite simple about it, it's just really fun to take a 22 long rifle to the range. You can take a whole brick of 500 rounds out there, and it's not going to cost you hardly anything to shoot. And you can do rifles, you can do pistols, and just target shoot all day long. Have competitions. There's actual competitions that are dedicated straight to the 22 long rifle cartridge. But anyway, folks, I just wanted to go over the 22 long rifle, and it's been around since 1887. There's the most variety of firearms, the most variety of ammunition. It's the most plentiful ammunition in the world, and it is a lot of fun to shoot 22 long rifle. But if you have any questions on the 22 long rifle, folks, I'm not an expert nor a historian, but I will do my best to answer anything you have. If you have any questions on these few firearms that I have out here, I mean, I have separate videos on every single one of them that go really into depth about the history of them and all that. But reach out to me. I'll do my best to answer them. And thank you very much for watching my video today. You folks have a great day.